NHL.com senior writer Dan Rosen, pretty close to the New York Rangers. He covers them all season long. Dan, your reaction to the news, obviously it's not a surprise, but just sort of why the Rangers had to make this move.
Well, because you look at it, he's probably their number 7 defenseman at this point. They get Jacob Trouba, they get Adam Fox this offseason, and you can't. Trouba's your number 1. He's your new number 1. He's a righty. Adam Fox, you don't want to stunt his growth, and he comes in. You expect him to be on your NHL team. He's a righty. Tony DeAngelo, you can't stunt his growth. He had a strong season last year. Coming back this year, he's a righty. Kevin Shattenkirk's a righty, too. It just didn't fit anymore for Kevin Shattenkirk, and that's why they did this. It would have been a problem to have Kevin Shattenkirk, a $6.65 million defenseman, as your number 7 defenseman. That's why it happened this way. And look, I mean, you have to think in the now. So I think this is the right move for the Rangers. They get the cap savings they need. They save $5.167 million on the cap this coming season. They need that money. This means at the present time, they don't have to go trade Chris Kreider. They can keep him and see if he can be a big part of this, right? They don't have to do that. They have this cap savings, and their defensive depth is still strong. Now, the following season, that becomes a problem because the cap hit goes way up on Kevin Shattenkirk on the buyout, and they'll have to deal with that at that point, which is probably why Chris Kreider's not longed for the Rangers on a long-term deal. But you have to deal with the now first, and the now is that Kevin Shattenkirk simply just didn't fit anymore in the role he was being paid for, so they had to do this, I think.
And the second year is that high because there's a big signing bonus component so you can't buy that out. That's why the salary cap hit would kick up in that second year. Now, I do disagree that Kevin Shattenkirk is the 7th best defenseman on the Rangers, but I mean, I think you could talk about Brendan Smith, you can talk about Mark Stahl, guys that are on the other side. You can talk about right shot defenseman as far as overall defenseman. I'm talking
about right shot guys. Yeah.
You know, and I understand you want room for DeAngelo and Fox. I get that, but I think he's not. I think he fell victim to maybe some bad luck last year. He's a better player than maybe he was perceived to be. So, given how he played last year, you saw him very closely. What happens with Kevin Shattenkirk right now? Does he go get another job quickly?
I think he does, because it's not going to cost you that much, and it's probably a 1-year deal, maybe 2, but I would think 1, because he's going to have to go. It's almost like another prove-it year for Kevin Shattenkirk. The one team I think of that seems like the perfect fit, and I don't know if it's going to happen, and I haven't reached out to them to see if there's Nashville. Nashville was dead last on the power play last year, and they traded a righty defenseman in PK Subban for the New Jersey Devils. If you have Kevin Shattenkirk come in, and he's your 3rd pair right-handed defenseman, but he plays on your power play, and he's up top at the point, and he's shoveling pucks to the net or whipping those passes, and he's helping your power play, you're probably not sub 13% on the power play again as you were if you're the Nashville Predators. So that's one team to look at. I know a lot of people are talking about the New Jersey Devils because they've got some cap space. To me, it doesn't necessarily fit there. If he wants to stay in the New York area, the New York Islanders, but again, I don't know that the fit is there. Nashville makes sense to me. Maybe a return to St. Louis could also make sense as well, but I think he's an NHL defenseman. I agree with you, Johnny. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind. He does fall victim here. The Rangers went out and got a better right-handed defenseman than Jacob Trouba. That's what happened. And then they wanted to acquire Adam Fox because he wanted to play for them and they like his style. So, and they have Tony DeAngelo. It just does not fit right now. And I don't even think Brendan Smith might not be on the team because they also have Libor Hayek. They've got Yegor Rykov. They've got Ryan Lindgren. They've got guys who are on relatively cheap deals that they can have, and to get a little extra cap savings, they might bury Brendan Smith in the AHL.
Well, Dan, it doesn't seem like that long ago this team, we were talking about the letter to the fan base, right, about what they were doing with the team. So when you look at the team now with all of the changes that they've made, where are they in this retooling process, in your opinion?
Young, but I think their fan base should expect the playoffs this season, and I think the Rangers should expect the playoffs this season. They're young. I mean, look, what's Kaapo Kakko going to be in his first year? Vitaly Kravtsov, how good is he going to be? You've got to figure out your second-line center. Is it Philip Hedl? Is it Brett Howden? Is it Elias Anderson? Is it Ryan Strome? Beyond that, there's things here. Is Henrik Lundqvist going to be the Henrik Lundqvist of the first half, or is he going to be the Henrik Lundqvist of the second half? So there's question marks, no doubt, but there's talent. there's way more talent on this team now than there was at the end of last season, and they're young and they should be better. So I think that the playoffs should be an expectation. Does that mean that they're going to make it? No, they absolutely have to be challenging for a playoff spot, though, come mid to late March, if not early April. And I think their fan base should believe that the rebuild is over and it's time to contend.
All makes sense and all correct, Dan. They're much better. They'll be more talented. Any concern, though, kind of, and you made a good point, you got to deal with today and then worry about next year. But given that they're still kind of young, just rebooting this team to be in as much cap trouble as they are in, and we know they got Panarin, we know they signed True, but they got great players for that money. So it has to come from somewhere. But how much do you worry about where they are cap-wise going forward beyond this season?
Well, they're in cap trouble this season and next season particularly. But beyond that, Henrik Lundqvist is going to come off, Mark Stahl is going to come off, and you still don't yet have to pay Kakko or Kravtsov or those, those types of players. So, and at that point, the expectation is the cap is expected to go up with the new, the TV deal will be up and this, that, and the other thing. So, they're in dire with the cap right now and certainly next season, but I think there's ways to work with it because they have Panarin, they have Zibanejad, they have True, but these guys are signed, so they have cap certainty as well, and they can sort of build around it. But then you're going to have some extra space here with which to work, and eventually you're going to have to pay some of your younger guys. You hope you have to pay them big contracts because that means in the next 2 to 3 years they're performing and the Rangers are getting better.
Well, you know what? Fans like action, and the New York Rangers have been very active this offseason. We've spent a lot of time talking about the New York Rangers. We'll see how it all pans out in this next upcoming season. But for now, Shattenkirk no longer a member of the Rangers. Thanks for this, Dan.
All right. Thanks, guys.